I was planning to do some videos today. If you were on the live last night, you know I was talking about doing some videos today, but alas, we are here. We are good. Audio is good, it says. But let's just talk about randomness. Let's talk about our favorite movies of 2024. If you're watching this after, comment it below. But I was supposed to watch Sonic today. Didn't happen, y'all. Didn't happen. I got caught up with some things and I just couldn't make it work. I'll watch it this weekend though. I'll watch it this weekend or hopefully probably Thursday. So I don't know yet. But let's talk about 2024, which has been a really good year for horror. Yo, that's the beauty of life, right? Things like that just happen, and we gotta keep going forward, right? I don't even know if you heard me, but okay. Let's talk about 2024, a really great year, honestly, for horror, for movies in general. If you're just joining us, I just dropped the camera and everything. It was bad, but we're good to go now. So I'm going to go on my letterbox. If you want to follow me there, it's Culture Elixir, same name here. And just go over some of the stuff we've watched this year. I had some videos planned today, but sadly got caught up with some errands. I couldn't get those videos done, but we still wanted to put out a video today, so we'll just do a live. So I'm gonna go and start with just August. Well, actually, let's start off in January, right? I was supposed to watch Sonic today. I should have been over there by now, but I got caught up with some errands and things like that, and now I am here. So I will be watching Sonic later this week. I really want to watch it. I've been excited for that movie ever since Shadow got teased in the last movie. But let's take it back right now. We're in December. Let's go back to January of 2024. A great year for movies. So, first movie I have on my letterbox was Anatomy of a Fall, which was a movie from 2023, but I didn't get to watch it until 2024. Then The Holdovers, another 2023 movie, but didn't watch it until 2024. So, I don't know if we'll really count those as 2024 releases. But the first movie of 2024 I got the chance to watch at Sundance was I Saw the TV Glow from A24, Jane Schumbrun. I wasn't the biggest fan when I first watched We're All Going to the World's Fair, and I still want to watch it one more time, give it another chance. But I definitely did really love I Saw the TV Glow. I thought it was such an interesting take and a very unique vision that Jane Schumbrun brought to the screen. Next film I watched was Love Me. Now, this is a movie with Stephen Ewan and Kristen Stewart where they play these inanimate objects that fall in love. It sounds crazy, but it definitely does pack a punch, I'll say that. But I just wasn't the biggest fan of it. This movie's actually going to come out next month, finally, in a wide release. So if you get a chance to watch it, I think it has some interesting takes. It's a interesting vision and definitely one I would check out if you have the opportunity to. I think it might be on streaming, probably. Hi there. The next film is The Handling the Undead, and that was a movie that I was very hyped to see. Zombie movies and a new spin, a new take, all of that. I thought that was interesting, and this was actually written by the same author, Let the Right One In, which is one of my favorite vampire films, and I thought it was great to finally check that out. So very excited to see what that's going to be. So the next one we have is It's What's Inside. This is a movie that came out on Netflix, and it was an interesting one for sure. This is a movie that was at Sundance. Everybody was raving about it over there. People were excited. People were very happy with it. And now I see it's come online, and everybody's like, I don't know how I feel about it. And I have yet to watch it from the first time I watched it, so I'm curious to see how much it still holds up. But yeah, that was movie number 4 right there. Next, we had Hitman, which is the new Glen Powell movie that came out this year. We had Glen Powell in several movies this year because we had him in Twisters as well. And next year, he's in the new Edgar Wright movie. So it's interesting to see Glen Powell's career and exciting because I think he's such a good actor for sure. We also have In a Violent Nature, which was one of the movies that I was very excited to check out in 2024. And at the end of the day, I just don't know how I felt about it. After now, I'm just curious about where we're going to go with In a Violent Nature 2. So even though I wasn't the biggest fan of In a Violent Nature 1, I will still check out number 2 because I'm just curious where they want to take that. The next film is My Old Ass, which is the new Aubrey Plaza film. It came out on Amazon just recently, and I thought that this was a very fun and quirky movie, but at the end of the day, I just really wasn't thinking about it after that first watch back at Sundance, and I'm just like, I don't know if I would revisit it again. One of the last films I watched at Sundance was Exhibiting Forgiveness. This is a movie that I thought was so under the radar this year, and I hope it does find its audience and gets its flowers it deserves Really great performances from everybody. Very, very excited to see more of this director and these actors. The Looming is a short film I watched at Sundance from the director Masha Ko, and this is amazing. They are definitely going to be making this into a feature length. I saw a couple of months ago an article about it, and I cannot wait for this movie to be turned into a feature length. This is such a good horror film. Yeah, I think Terra was very underrated as well. It wasn't horrible like people were saying. I had a ton of fun with it, watching it, especially with my family. So I think Terra was very underappreciated for what it was, right? Uh, so moving on, we are still in January, so let's go into February now, where we have the film Doom Part 2, which I thought was phenomenal. And I felt like Doom Part 2 kind of hasn't been in the radar or in the conversation because it came out so early. It came out in March. But I do think it's still one of the most gorgeous films of the year. Definitely one I still think about certain scenes. Those last 30 minutes are incredible. Austin Butler and Timothée Chalamet going up against one another was definitely one of those interesting things and scenes all year. And I'm curious to see Austin Butler in American Psycho as Patrick Bateman. So that was interesting right there. Next, we have Immaculate, a movie I was very excited for, and I just wasn't sure entirely how I felt. I think the last 30 minutes of it are the highlight of it. Other than that, I just was like, yeah, whatever with it. But I still think that Sydney Sweeney did a great job in those last 30 minutes for sure. Monkey Man was another movie I was very excited for, but I just felt like it got a bit too slow in the middle for my liking. I still think the action sequences, everything about it were amazing. The way it's shot, Dev Patel is a very great director and has an eye, so I'm curious to see where he goes next in his directorial career. He does have a movie coming out at Sundance next month, which is like a horror movie, so I'm excited to see what that is. He's just starring in it, he's not directing that one. Cuckoo was a movie that I was excited for as well, and for a long time we all thought Cuckoo wasn't gonna come out, right? I remember somebody was like tweeting at them on Twitter Neon about where is Cuckoo, and then they finally said it's gonna premiere at Berlin this year. They premiered, and then it came at South by Southwest, and then it opened up, and I thought it was a very interesting film. I like the director's other film. I forgot what it's called that he did prior. I don't know if it was called Loose. I don't remember, but that was a good movie, honestly. Civil War from Alex Garland also came out later on, and Alex Garland has another war movie. We just talked about it on the episode we did yesterday with the movie news called Warfare, and that was actually done with the military supervisor he had on for Civil War. So they did that together, and now it's releasing. Has Will Poulter, Joseph Quinn. So Joseph Quinn's really going to be in a ton of stuff, isn't he? He was just also in the film A Quiet Place, and then he's going to be in the Fantastic Four as the Human Torch, and he's going to be in Warfare next year. So he's pretty busy as well. So very excited to see more of Joseph Quinn. Late Night with the Devil was another film I was very excited to check out. This is one of those movies that I had heard was amazing, and I was just ready to finally watch it. David Dastmalchian's always great in what I see him, and I'm excited to see more of what he is going to accomplish. I think he's such a great actor. Late Night with the Devil definitely is that movie, though, that I think really cemented him as one of those horror legends for sure. So excited about that. Next film is The First Omen. The First Omen was a movie I was super excited about, but also worried. These prequels, these sort of legacy sequels of sorts, never really proved themselves, right, to be amazing. But once you watch it and you see what The First Omen had to offer, Arkasha Stevenson is definitely a director to watch. Nell Tiger Free, also a great actress. Really great stuff as well. Challengers was the next movie we watched in April. This is April that we're in. And Challengers was one of those movies that I just didn't know how to feel about it, right? I was like, this could go one way or the other. And it definitely went in a way that I really loved. I thought that what we saw, Luca Guadagnino, as well as Zendaya and everybody else involved, was a very interesting and different movie experience when you really think about it. The soundtrack is incredible. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross always deliver on soundtrack, and I'm always game to see what they do next. Next film is going to be Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, a movie that I really enjoyed a lot. This is a movie that I wasn't entirely sure either how to feel about it because, like I said, it had been a bit since we got a Planet of the Apes movie, and we were finally gonna get one. And I was just like, please be good. And it was really good. It was really good. Planet of the Apes was one of those movies that really surprised me. There was so much in it and so much story and lore to build up in this world that I was just so invested to see where they go next. And I'm excited to see what they want to do with this film because it was so good, honestly. Very, very excited to see what they do next. Next one is going to be Furiosa, which I feel didn't really get as much love as it could have gotten. I think that this is a movie that really had some amazing effects and a look to it that was so distinct from what we were seeing all year. But nonetheless, I understand that it's not this mega IP or huge like everybody knows what Furiosa, what Mad Max is. I think people have an understanding and they might remember it a little bit, but I had an understanding that it wasn't going to be a huge success or box office breaker, right? But nonetheless, I enjoyed it. I liked it. There's so much about it there. The Watchers was a movie from the Shyamalans here, and this was one of those movies that I was so like, what? When I heard people didn't like it, because for some reason I liked it. I thought it had an interesting premise, and the whole thing with the creatures was interesting to me, but nobody really vibed with it as much as I did, I think. Maybe a couple of people here and there. Next one is going to be A Quiet Place Day One. This is a film that I was also wary about. There's so many movies that this came out this year where I was just like, my expectations are low. I don't think this is going to be good. And then I watched it and I was like, no, that was really good. And this is one of them. A Quiet Place Day One with Lupita Nyong'o, Joseph Quinn. Really great story, amazing execution, just a beautifully told horror film, honestly. Inside Out 2 was another film I watched that same week, which I really loved as well. I don't know if I like it more than the first one. I haven't watched the first one since it came out, but I definitely want to check it out again. Exuma, a movie that I think also went under the radar. Really interesting premise here. Interesting perspective that they have for this story to be told. Something we don't really see in a lot of horror movies today, which I think is a great way to tell a story like Exuma. But I'm curious to see what other people think about that. Twisters is the new Glen Powell sequel of sorts to the legacy film Twisters, which I thought was a very interesting way to retell this story. Of course, there's the whole kiss controversy where people were mad that there wasn't a kiss and all of that between Glenn and Daisy Edgar Jones at the end of the film. I'm just like, it is what it is, right? Oddity, another horror film that I had no clue about until it came out and I started hearing all of the rave reviews and I was ready to see what that was going to be, and I'm excited to see more from those directors there. So, very good year for horror, and we're just halfway through. I think I'll just get up until July and then we'll just cut the video there because I still want to do a whole video about it. But I just wanted to open up a conversation, hear some of y'all's favorite horror or movies of the year and which ones y'all love the most. I watched Love Lies Bleeding as well in June, and that was a movie that I loved. Rose Glass is amazing. I still have to see her first film, which I've heard so many great things about. And then I also watched Didi, which was another Sundance film, and really love what the director did here. But nonetheless, that's going to do it for me. I just want to hop on here, do a video of sorts, talk a little bit, but we'll discuss more things later tonight, and I'm very, very excited to talk more movies. Stay tuned for Best of 2025 coming, and that's going to be tomorrow, as well as my favorite films of 2024. As always,